Welcome back to the Real Power Podcast. Man, I'm stoked for today's episode. We got an awesome guest, Austin Cole. He is one of Keegan's best friends. Keegan, by the way, is our co-host for today. Keegan, say
What's up,
hi.
guys? Happy to be here.
One Shot Keeg, the legend, the
go.
myth, the man. Austin is a 21-year-old competitive bodybuilder with one of the best physiques I've ever seen. And I'm not just gassing him up. He's 21 years old and he's a beast. He is doing amazing things in the bodybuilding world. He's an entrepreneur. He's a social media influencer with hundreds of thousands of followers across multiple platforms. I was telling him before we started recording, I'm just very, very impressed with the mindset that he has at just 21 years old. He is wise beyond his years, and I think he's going to bring a lot of value to the audience that we're trying to target, the young 20-year-olds who maybe they know college isn't for them, the corporate route isn't for them. They want to start their own thing, be an entrepreneur, and I think Austin's a really great example of where you can take things if you're not going the traditional path. So, Austin, thank you so much for being here, brother. I'm super excited.
Dude, I'm blessed to be here. What you guys are doing is amazing, and the fact that I get to be a part of it is awesome, so I'm stoked.
Let's start from the beginning of like your bodybuilding career or journey. How did you even get started down the path of becoming a bodybuilder?
So pretty much I realized that being 5'9", professional basketball wasn't in the cards for me, so I would go to the YMCA after my practices, and I just fell in love. I was about 16 and a half, and once I saw a little bit of progress start to compound, I was hooked. And then quarantine hit 2 months later. We somehow managed to scrape together the last 300-pound Olympic set, like barbell plates from Dick's during the first week of quarantine.
Yeah, because it was selling out fast.
Dude, like crazy.
Yep.
And I had my set. I worked out 5 hours a day. Terrible form, terrible movements probably, but I was hooked. And once gyms opened, I started taking it more and more seriously. And pretty soon, probably a year in to just general working out, nothing mattered more. Like basketball, any other sports, even hang out with friends sometimes. I'd be like, no, dude, going to the gym tonight.
I love it, man. Where do you think that drive came from? Why do you think you became so obsessed with bodybuilding?
I think especially early on, I've always played team sports throughout my life. But the outcome of the team sport is dependent on other people. And also, due to genetics, you can only get so good at certain things and have so much of an impact. But with bodybuilding, it's literally 1 for 1. The more I put in, the more results I would get. And I could be the 100% dictator of how well I was training in the gym, how well I was dieting, how well I was recovering, all of these different variables I started to learn about. And then I was like, oh, wait, if I'm not happy with this part of my physique, I get to change it.
I can control it.
And it was fully 1v1. And I think that was truly what made me fall in love with it. And that's what's kept me going so consistently over the last 4.5-ish years is just nobody else is physically capable of doing it for me.
Yeah.
So if I do it, it's fully on me.
I love it. I think I had the same mindset. I started working out maybe 14 years old. And at first it was just, as a young man, you want to get out there and build a nice physique and just look good being a teenager, right? But yeah. I think the same as you, I fell in love with the mental aspect of it, being able to challenge myself every day and push myself and make parts of my body work on weak spots. And I think, Keegan, I would say you're probably the same, the reason you got into bodybuilding, because, the three of us here are very, very into it. Would you say that was the same for you too?
Yeah, that was definitely the same for me. And that's part of the reason why me and Austin got along so well to begin with, because when you have those common interests, especially with something like bodybuilding, which I think even a few years ago wasn't a massive thing, especially here in Rochester. So seeing other people actually taking it serious, taking the gym serious, it was okay, this is going to be my circle because there's not many people like this. So we kind of got along right away, and I definitely learned a lot initially based on the way Austin did things with his diet and his training that accelerated his progress, obviously.
Yeah, and when you met Austin and your other group of friends, like I love to see that because for me, I had been a lone wolf my entire like career of working out.
Right.
I would always just put my headphones in, not talk to anyone, and just do my thing. And when you first connected with them, I'm like, this is really cool because I wish I had that group of people when I was, younger in my 20s. So just to see like the camaraderie that you guys have and the friendship and relationship that you've built, it's really special.
Yeah. And it's dope to see like what the gym has become. Because when I started, and I'm pretty sure you've been training longer than me.
Yeah.
When I started, dude, I got like bullied for posting my physique and like literally for going to the gym. People would make fun of me and they'd be like, oh, honestly, it doesn't even matter what they would say. But like, yeah, it was super weird. It was niche and not normal at all.
Yeah.
And now everybody's training.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's obsessed
It's
with
cool now.
gym
Yep.
content, all
Yep.
of that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just cool to see it develop.
Yeah, and I think, to your point there, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. Like when you find your people, your tribe, your like group of like-minded people, that's all that matters. I want to bring as much value to the people who are watching, right? You have an insane physique, 21 years old. What would you say, like talking 80-20, Pareto's principle, like this is the amount to get like the most results. The extra 20% is like reaching for greatness. But for people who just want to build a great physique, be beach lean, have a nice toned body, what is your one tip? Let's say maybe on the training side in the gym and then the nutrition side in the kitchen. If you had to like sum up like one tip, and you can take your time to think about it, but like what do you think that'd be on both sides?
Okay, so they're almost the exact same. And it goes pretty much as follows. Do the same thing every single day. I'll cover diet first.
Yeah, sure.
Eat the same exact food measured out every single day and see what happens. You don't need a calorie calculator app. You don't need 1,000 different protein supplements and this and that. Eat 3 to 4 whole food meals and then see what happens. And it might take like 3 months. If you put on loads of fat in the first 3 months, be like, okay, so as much rice as I'd like, maybe we'll pull back a bit, right? And off of those first 3 months, you'll be able to gauge pretty much any adjustment you need to make. If you gain too much weight,
Pull back. Yeah.
If you don't gain any weight, add a little bit. If you start losing weight, maybe that's good. Maybe you want to start losing weight, right? But maybe you need to add more in. So just do the same thing every single day, and then you'll know exactly where to go.
Sure.
And then with training, do the same exact movements on repeat and slowly get stronger over time.
Simple.
I feel like people make it so complicated
Yeah.
with all this like nuance, all this 20%, which I'm very involved in right
Sure.
now. I'm
Which
kind
makes
of
sense.
obsessed with that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm obsessed with like the last 2%. But for that 80% rule, just do the same thing, stay consistent, and then use yourself as like a measuring board to figure out what adjustments
Yeah.
you need to make.
All trial and error.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's easy nowadays with people giving all these fitness tips. Like at the end of the day, you say stay consistent, right? So they try to stick to a plan and they see something online, they see something that someone else says, and they deviate from that plan.
Yep.
And then it messes up the progress they make. So, like you said, it's simple, but it's not easy. But if you can just block the noise out and just stay consistent, I think that's what me and Cam have seen with the gains we made. I don't really train like the hardest, I would say, but I train consistently every day and I eat pretty solid and my physique is good. Like I don't say I train amazingly hard, but over time it compounds and you can have a good physique.
Yeah.
So.
And that's it right there. It's the compounding. Everyone wants results overnight and it just doesn't happen. It takes years and years of going back and being consistent and lifting heavy and eating right. So going farther into that, so we got training, nutrition. What are the main exercises you would recommend, maybe compound movements for people to focus on if they're just starting in the gym to get the quickest results?
If I could pick 2 movements per muscle group, chest incline dumbbell, high to low cable fly.
Okay.
Back would be dumbbell row, lat pull over. Legs, hack squat, leg extensions for quads, RDL, hamstring curl for hams. What am I missing? Shoulders, dumbbell lateral, cable lateral. Arms are pretty self-explanatory, but like just those big heavy hitting movements, if you really lock in where your strength is at for, your 2 sets till failure, and you're able to overload those consistently over time, and then do that over the course of years.
Yep.
Where I can literally look back on data points from when I was 18 and be like, okay, back then my form was a little bit less, but I got an increase of reps and food was at this point. So with this comparison from the food to the form increase, I'm actually much better, even though I'm getting slightly less reps with the same weight. And you just do that consistently, you can literally pull from any data you need. And I just it's all up here.
Yeah. Yeah. Love it. How about on the nutrition side? Just personally for you, I know it's different when you're prepping, when you're bulking, when you're maintaining. Like, what are the go-to foods that you really like in your diet?
Simple, as basic as it gets. Chicken breast, ground beef, eggs, whey protein. That's your protein sources. Potatoes, white rice, cream of rice, oats. For fats, avocado, nuts, nut butters, and then animal fats.
Whole foods, baby.
Whole foods.
Love it. Love it.
If you just followed the foods I just listed as your dieting principles, make the adjustments you need to make for yourself, you'll have a great physique.
Put that on your shopping list right now.
Yeah,
Put it on your shopping list.
I like cream of wheat. Is that different from cream of rice?
Shit's ass.
So I'm honestly not a huge fan of wheat.
Okay, why?
Pretty much back. I'm not an expert here, but I'm actually allergic to wheat. I'm allergic to gluten. And the reason for this is because the ancient grain, which is referenced in the Bible and stuff, when they talk about wheat, it's a very thick, dense bush. And per bush, you actually don't get that much wheat grain or wheat flour. And pretty much what happened was there was a world hunger crisis. And what they did was they genetically modified it to turn the wheat from a bush into a tall stalk. So they could grow I don't even know how much more, but they could grow so much more stalk versus bush because it would grow tall and basically produce 10 times the amount.
Interesting.
And through that processing, it just caused a lot of issues in the gut. Gluten actually passes the blood-brain barrier, which for me causes brain fog, overall just irritability. Kind of feels like my brain is on fire. And it also causes bad problems with my gut, or anybody who is celiac or allergic to gluten's gut.
Yeah.
Because and again, I'm not an expert on this. I've just been gluten-free for the last 21 years. Basically, there's little fingers in your intestines, and they move food along, and gluten clogs them.
Got it. Okay.
It overall causes issues, whereas rice is, what's the word? Hypoallergenic? Or, I believe it's hypoallergenic, where pretty much nobody is allergic to rice.
Yeah.
It digests super well. It's very fast digesting. It's pretty much just one of those foods everyone can tolerate pretty well.
That's really good to know, because I feel when I have cream of wheat and shit, I don't feel great after. So
it probably tastes great.
It does taste pretty good. But I've actually, and I'm glad you brought it up, I've had gut issues. I think our whole family has really had gut issues our entire life. And I just went through a really bad 3 or 4 months where I was just completely off, nauseous, everything. I lost like 25 pounds. I had to go get endoscopy, colonoscopy, ultrasound, like all of it to figure out what was going on. They couldn't find anything. And they actually did diagnose me with SIBO. I don't know if you ever heard of SIBO. It's SIBO. It stands for small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So there's basically too much bad bacteria in your small intestine for whatever reason. There's a variety of different, probably all the shit in our food, right?
Right.
So they gave me some antibiotics to kind of calm that down, and it ended up just having to be me cleaning up my diet. And for the past couple months, I've just been eating, just like you said, the very whole foods, rice, chicken breast, ground beef, and sticking to that, eliminating all the processed shit, and I'm slowly starting to feel better. So gut health is something that I don't think people realize how important it is until you struggle with something. And they call the gut a second brain for a reason.
Yeah.
And now I am just so obsessed with everything I put into my body is fuel versus, obviously I still want to like enjoy foods and shit, but talk a little bit about the things you do, because I know you take some supplements. I think I've seen on your stories and stuff, like you take stuff for gut specifically. What do you do to keep your gut in check?
For the first, I want to say 2.5 to 3 months of my prep was 5 months. For the first 2.5 to 3 months, I was experiencing extreme gut health issues to the point where sometimes I couldn't train until 9 or 10 at night. I would arrive at the gym because literally my stomach was just so bothered all day. I could barely leave the house. Now, like, thankfully, I'm fully self-employed. I have been for almost 3 years now. So I am able to do that.
You have that luxury.
I'm able to, do bodybuilding full time and not really have to worry about being in an office experiencing these issues. But I mean, dude, it was so bad. Like, I literally didn't want to eat. I didn't want to leave the house. I didn't want to do anything. It was extreme. But what I did was I switched all my chicken to pasture raised organic. I don't believe everybody needs to do this, but for me, it's something I do because, again, I have the luxury to. So I buy $9 a pound chicken breast. That was huge for me. Chicken especially is absolutely loaded with hormones, because if you look at the lifespan of a chicken, it goes from egg to slaughtering size in just a couple of months. Whereas with a full cow, it's going to take, I believe, 2 to 3 years to grow, basically, till it's ready to, go to the slaughter, and especially with grass-fed, even longer.
Yeah.
So switching my chicken from just regular chicken breast to organic was huge, and then grass-fed beef, organic bougie rice. They sell at Whole Foods. I don't even know the name, but it's like the purple bag. It's
I'll
like
have to get that from you after this show and start buying that. For sure.
I get that stuff. Pretty much just eliminating every single thing I could from my diet, and then taking it like one step further with the higher quality of Whole Foods helped. And then also having psyllium husk fiber supplement in the morning. L-glutamine was huge. And then shout out to Revive. I'm not with them, but they have a product called GI. It was actually major for me. I took that for the last couple months of my prep. And
what does that actually do, that GI product?
Honestly, I don't know. I saw
Just
Sebum.
works?
Yeah, I think
Sebum took it.
Yeah, I saw that.
And he
I'm
always
sold.
talks. He has autoimmune.
Yep.
I have autoimmune. So I was like, dude, if he's taking it, I'm gonna take it. Pretty much between those, I was able to fix almost all of it.
Dude, that's amazing. And it's cool to see like the greatest of all time, like right now, to have those gut issues and know that like he's human too, and you can still achieve greatness and stuff. So that was very, very helpful. Thank you. Like just for me, and I'm sure anyone else who's experiencing gut issues, because I think it's a real pandemic right now with just all the stuff in our food.
It's bad.
I think a good starting point too, because obviously back to the 80-20 rule, the first step is eliminating all the bullshit out.
Right.
And that can get you to the main source of like just whole foods. Then you could take it a step further. You can go cage-free, pasture-raised, this and that. And for some people, that will make a difference.
Right.
But I think the starting point is just getting on a whole foods diet. And then from there, seeing what works, whether it's buying organic chicken or buying grass-fed beef.
I'd argue it's even 90-10.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Just removing all the processed, enriched flours, seed oils, all that stuff. That's going to do most of the work.
Yeah.
And then once you feel that and you feel that like level of clarity, you're never going to want to go back, and you're going to want to be like, all right, let me try the pasteurized eggs.
Yeah.
Let me try the organic beef. Okay, now let me get regenerative beef.
Yeah.
And then you start buying like the $12 a pound stuff.
I don't care though.
Like, okay.
That's what other best way is money
Yeah.
spent, like
Yeah.
other than on your health.
No,
Yeah.
it's so true. Like spend the extra $5 on your
Who
pasture-raised
cares?
eggs.
Exactly.
Fucking cares.
Exactly.
Let's talk about supplements, because I think that's another, everyone's wondering about that. What do your supplements look like aside from like the gut stuff, protein, creatine, anything you're taking right now?
Right now I'm working with Evogen, which
Okay.
I'm very blessed to be working with Evogen because I truly believe they are the best in the game, especially as a bodybuilder.
The owner is C-Bum's coach.
Oh,
Hani
cool.
Rambod.
Yeah.
So with the supplement industry, there's definitely some good companies out there. But when it comes to like, when you want to get as granular as possible and you really want to make sure every single T is crossed and every single I is dotted,
Yep.
I mean, Evogen is the way to go.
Okay.
Their whey protein is the most pure protein on the market. It's not, I believe it's isolate. It's just super clean. There's like half a gram of fat. There's like less than 1 gram of carbs per scoop. It's just a clean, easy digesting, high quality protein. So that's what I'll take protein wise. And then EAAs are intra workout, pretty much just because I digest a little bit slower. I have to train like 2 to 2.5 hours after I eat my pre-workout meal. So the EAAs are essential amino acids, and they pretty much, not like it would happen because I am in like a growing phase, but they pretty much like fight off any potential catabolism, and they kind of provide your muscles with, they basically provide your muscles with some type of protein that keeps them from breaking down during training because you are going multiple hours without eating. And then I take pre-workout, pretty simple, no caffeine, just L-citrulline, other things for a pump, a little bit of focus stuff in there. And then for my caffeine or sweetened beverages, low-calorie beverages, anything like that, I opt for no-go just because I'm a huge fan of their ingredients. I like how it doesn't have too much caffeine. It's about 180 milligrams. If you're taking the caffeinated version, it's no milligrams. If you're taking the BCAA version. So having those BCAA drinks instead of diet soda is great for the gut, great for overall digestion. And then having those energy drinks versus ones that like taste too good to be true. It's kind of pretty much everything.
Beautiful.
I also take collagen before bed, also from Evogen. It's just grass-fed, hydrolyzed collagen, good for the joints, good for skin, nails, hair, pretty much just overall. It's just like a good sprinkle on top, just to make sure you cover all your bases.
Nice.
I have a question about your pre-workout process, because I think a lot of people kind of overlook that, how important the pre-workout meal is and the timing and stuff. For me, specifically, and back to like the gut thing, if you eat a meal and you go to the gym directly after and your stomach is still not fully digested, it can really hinder your workout in a big way. So what would you say is the optimal time? Like, what do you feel like when you go into a workout? Is your stomach empty? Are you overloading on carbs? Like, explain that process of what the pre-workout looks like.
Right. So there's multiple things which come to mind instantly. Number one is if you eat a decent sized pre-workout meal with, carbs, fats, lots of carbs, some protein in there, and then you instantly go train, even if it's the most optimal pre-workout meal, cream of rice, almond butter, whey protein, it's fast digesting, You got fats in there to keep your blood glucose regular. You got cream of rice, going to digest very quickly, get into the bloodstream. If you eat that and then just instantly go train, your stomach literally has food in it.
Just sitting there.
So if you're going to tell me you can brace against a belt doing dumbbell rows the same
Without
way you
throwing up.
can. Yeah, without throwing up.
That's probably what actually causes a lot of people hit legs, right? And it's like
Yeah.
a common thing that you hit legs and you throw up. Like
never
I've done
happened to
it.
me.
I know you've done it. And it's because you're not letting your food digest properly
Yeah.
before, pushing 600 pounds on a leg press.
Yeah.
And then you throw up all your food. Like you're losing out on those gains, one, and then you feel like shit after.
Yeah.
Yeah. So literally just like having a full stomach, that's not comfortable to go like load 8 plates up on a hack squat and hit a set to failure. Right.
So is your stomach empty then, is what you're saying? Like where?
So I think of it like cold stomach, warm stomach.
Okay.
When you wake up in the morning, that feeling you have is like a cold stomach. That's like how I think about it, right? And then right after you eat, I'd say like you have a warm stomach. Like you just feel like, oh man, like I just ate. I need to like kind of sit down or take a walk. When it comes to nutrient timing and meal timing, when my stomach is hot, like when I'm in the process of eating, that's it. So if I want to add something to a meal, it's happening with the meal, right? I'm not going to eat breakfast at 9 a.m. and then at 10:15 eat a couple rice cakes, and then at 10:45 have a spoonful of yogurt, and then at 12:30 eat meal 2, pre-workout meal, and then 40 minutes later have a dash of cream of rice and some almond, right? I want to keep my meals as concise as possible. So when I'm eating, and that's it.
Yeah.
Kind of like, okay, so here's like a really good way I kind of visualize it. If you want to train your chest, you don't do 150 push-ups spread 1 hour out throughout the day, every single day. You have a specific time where it's time to train chest. You do your exercises, you rest, and then you move on. You rest, recover, and then later it's time to train chest again, right? That's the best way to get your chest acclimated to training, increase its strength, increase its effectiveness, let it recover, let it rest. You have to think of the stomach as the same way. So it's not just like, oh, I get 3,000 calories a day. Let me eat 200 calories 20 times. Or obviously that's not the right math, but you want to have a proper meal, get your nutrients in, and then give your stomach like a few hours to recover and like calm down a little bit, because it takes a lot to digest and to like properly deal with food.
Yeah, that's a great analogy and a great just insight there. I have heard though from a previous guest was really a bodybuilder and big in the gym, that he actually does the opposite of what you just said and does do very frequent small meals like continuously throughout his day, and he finds that's actually better for his personal digestive system. So maybe it can be different for different people, but I can see like both sides of it.
I'm not speaking like as a fact, just for me personally.
What works for you? Yeah.
I think you're saying more of like the snacking, and you need to eliminate those little like rice cake here.
I would say
this
you need to
there.
eliminate stacking.
Yeah.
I would say that for
Yeah.
sure.
Like if you say you spread your meals out throughout the day with the smaller meals, they still are like meals that you kind of had. They're not like eating and then like 15 minutes later you're eating like something else.
Right, but it was interesting. It was Jason Sakoti who I was talking about.
Gotcha.
When we had Chipotle, he got a nice big bowl, but he said he would eat like half of it right now, and then he'd eat like the other half in like an hour,
That's interesting.
which is very
Eat your own,
interesting.
man.
His food volume, like the amount of food he has to eat per day, might just be so high
He's a
that
big
he can't
dude.
stomach it all in 5 meals. So I do eat 5 meals a day.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely person
Yeah,
dependent.
definitely. And that's what it comes down to for any fitness, right? It's all personal, but really great tips there. Let's talk quick about alcohol. That's another big topic. What's your take on it? Do you drink? How often? What's it look like for you?
So for me, last year I was big on drinking. I definitely, if you want to
Big White
just
Claw guy.
huge high nooner guy. Last year I drank loads of booze, And it really didn't, in my mind at the time especially, have any negative impact. I felt pretty much the same all the time, whether I had drank the night previous or not. And it was really only until I started prep and I fully quit alcohol. I think I saw Keegan like a month in and I was like, dude, the biggest PED I've ever taken was quitting alcohol because holy shit.
Such a fact.
I feel fucking amazing. Nowadays, I very, very rarely drink. If I do, it's kind of to be courteous to others around me, to not like stick out like a sore thumb. I'll have like a vodka club, something like that, maybe a high noon, slowly sip on it.
Yeah.
It's just really something I removed just because neurologically the effect I felt from drinking, the amount of brain fog, I just feel like extremely not good the next day because I did have that 5-month period where I didn't touch a single drop of it. I feel like my body almost built up like an intolerance.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. I'm the same way with alcohol, very rarely. Probably a little more than you, what you're explaining, but I'll just save it for the occasions when, you know, you're out at an event, you're around other
Absolutely.
people. Like I will never on a random Thursday night, oh, let me just chill out with a beer on my couch. Like I'm just not that kind of person. And I think alcohol is good for like social life too.
Yeah.
Loosens you up a little bit at parties and stuff. So there's a point where, you know, people talk about alcohol negatively impacting your gains, but I think you really have to go overboard with it to
Right.
start to feel those effects. Whereas a couple drinks here and there, I don't think, in my opinion, is going to hurt you.
pretty much I agree. If you're just like living casually, you know, you're into training, you're into looking good, there's not that much wrong with alcohol. But
Yeah.
if you want to optimize, like it's technically poison. I really don't have anything against it personally, just where I'm at in life right now and kind of the things I'm trying to accomplish and the precision I'm trying to have in my life.
Yep.
It's really something I don't do too
No
often.
need for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You almost like once you go a while without it, you realize you have almost more fun at social events when you're sober. Because what I would notice is like I'd have like 2-3 drinks, I'd feel a little buzz, and then it's like on your mind. You're like, yo, I gotta keep drinking,
Keep the
or I'm
buzz
gonna
going.
crash.
Yeah.
And I'm like not gonna feel good, or like I might get awkward, or I might get too drunk. When you're sober, you're just like good to go.
Yeah, that's the issue I have with it sometimes too. Like I try to stay away from it as much as I can because when I do drink, like
You go hard.
I just want to get
Yeah. You want to go
Destroyed.
hard.
This is for Keegan. It's like either sober Keegan, he's just like there, or he's like falling asleep on the balcony of wherever.
Dude, yo, roll the clip.
really clip.
Oh, it was a good night.
It's weird though because it is normalized and like you said, you have a drink and you can actually open up a lot more with new people and new
Yeah.
situations. So from a physical standpoint, obviously it is poison into your body, like whether you like it or not, it is.
So you decided to stay natural. And in the competitive bodybuilding world, that's a pretty big decision because most professional bodybuilders, the greats, they all take some sort of enhancements, right?
Right.
Can you talk about why you decided personally for you wanted to stay natural?
Yeah, so I guess for me to like really give this answer my best, I kind of have to put myself in the headspace of where I was at when I was going to take PEDs. And I felt kind of lost. I felt kind of like I had really taken my foot off the gas for a long time, and it really caught up to me because the fun was over, you could say. And I was kind of like, okay, shit, like I'm not happy with who I am, not happy with, I guess, how I've been living. So let's just jump to the complete other extreme, which is like I'm fully living just as like a normal dude, just going to restaurants, drinking all the time, you know, being normal.
Yep.
To, yo, straight IFBB pro card run. I'm going to take whatever. I'm going to do whatever it takes. Nothing else matters. And it scared the shit out of me. And I guess it scared me, but I was like, yo, I'm just going to do this. Fuck it. I'm going to do whatever it takes. And I was still in this mindset of, I guess, being lost and not knowing where to go trying to take it in my own hands and trying to figure it all out by myself. And I was very like anxious, paranoid about it, because I had like a good 3 weeks from when I kind of started deciding, yo, this is what I'm going to do, to when I actually like had to start doing it. And I was feeling so anxious. I could barely sleep just about it. You know, I'm researching videos nonstop, and it's like all these different viewpoints, all these different opinions, all this like noise that took up in my head. And I went to call my mom, and I was going to tell her, she was in Florida at the time with my grandma. I was going to tell her, yo, I'm taking PEDs, Ma, I'm going to start next week. And the phone didn't pick up. So I call her back, and it rang. Finally, she picked up on the last ring. I'm like, hey, Mom, I'm staying natural. And literally, I was laying on my bed, and my eyes like went up to this. Why did I just say that? I'm not staying natural. And then she was like, okay, buddy. That's great. You know, she was like taken aback, hella.
Yeah.
Because I guess she just never even assumed I would take PEDs. And as she said, like, well, that's amazing, buddy. Like, I never even thought you would, but I mean, I'm so proud of you. Thank you for telling me. Like, thank you for letting me know. Dude, the sense of peace that just washed over me was like unlike anything I've felt had felt in a very, very long time. I just felt completely at peace with it. And I literally was calling her to tell her I'm
That you were
taking
gonna
PEDs.
take 'em, yeah.
I, for whatever reason, like freaked out and said, yo, I'm staying natural. And right there, that sense of peace I got, that was my determination.
You were like, this is the right decision.
I was like, okay, this is the right decision.
That's a crazy
And I've
story,
literally
man.
never second guessed it.
I mean, that sounds like a higher power almost, like taking over.
100%.
I mean, like, because you were literally prepared in that phone call. You were, and you did the opposite. So that's crazy.
It's not even like I did the opposite. It's like those words just came out of me. And I was like, kind of like, shit, why did I say that? Because I might still do it. And I just told her I was staying natural. Like once we hung up, like I just kept like saying like, I'm staying natural. I'm staying natural.
Yep.
And it just felt so like a breath of fresh air. Yo, I'm good. I don't have to deal with all that shit I've been worrying about and thinking about having to deal with.
So for the people watching then, because I'd imagine a lot of people your same age, young men in their 20s who maybe even aren't pursuing bodybuilding as a competitive sport, just want to take them to get huge in the gym. What's your advice to those people? And I know like everyone, you can do what you want and shit, but like from all the research you've done and your opinion on it, like what are the pros and cons to hopping on anything?
So I'll give the kind of like the simple answer from what I think you're asking me, and then I'll give kind of like the deeper,
Sure, go wherever you want with
personal
it.
side of it answer. Number one is like if you don't feel dope right now, it's your fault, right? There's a lot of shit you should be doing 100% accuracy before you say, I don't feel or look good enough, I need enhancements. Like from your sleep to your diet to your stretching to your meditation in the morning to your routines to the like there's literally almost endless amounts of things you're not optimized on before you should ever even consider taking PEDs. And like you'd have to optimize every single aspect and then do that for like multiple years to the point where you actually need PEDs. So if you're not happy with yourself, it's your fault. And like people are gonna be mad at that.
No, I love
They're not gonna like that. But dude,
that.
PEDs ain't the answer.
Yep.
The answer's in the shit you already know you need to do and you're not doing. So if you think you feel like crap now, there's eventually gonna be a day where you have to come off the PEDs, and dude, you're gonna feel like 1,000 times more crap because you didn't actually like set the right habits and you didn't actually like do the right things required. You didn't follow the steps necessary. You just thought it was the answer for everything. And then now when your hormones are like that of like a female, and it's worse than you even feel now as a natural, yeah, like you're kind of cooked.
Yeah.
So
cooked.
you're better off just staying natural. Because I'd rather be natural and like not feel super amazing than feel like an inhumane level of amazing, like something that humans are never even supposed to experience.
Yeah.
And then have to come back to Earth. Like
That is the
would suck.
exact mindset I have. And like, not that I've really ever thought about it, but I'm like, if I ever did, that'd be sick. I mean,
Yeah, it would be awesome,
It would
dude.
be really, really cool. You'd be like Superman.
Yeah.
But then my mind immediately goes to the day when I do have to come off of them.
It's like, I mean, it's like coming down off a drug. It's basically a
is a
drug.
drug.
Like
It is
You
drugs,
take
yeah.
what MDMA or alcohol. You reach this high, and you experience this euphoric feeling.
Yeah.
And then that's why in the morning after you drink or you do drugs, you feel extreme depression because you came down
Yeah.
back down. So it's the same thing. It's just a longer period of enhancement, and the high is longer, and then when you come off it, your body is now damaged and you are completely feel like shit.
Yep.
So.
Do you think you'll stay natural for life?
Only time will tell, truthfully. I am going to do
Announce it.
You don't have to announce anything. If you can announce it, we can cut it out. You can text me, be like, don't put that part in it. So wherever you want to go right now.
I am going to go for my FBB Pro card naturally next year. So that will be dope. Nationally qualified for all of 2025. So I'm going to be going for the Pro card naturally.
Excited
I
for
believe
that.
if I can put on 8 to 10 pounds of stage weight,
Absolutely.
keep it. Because I definitely took my prep too far. I got too lean.
He was-
I heard
I
about
lost
him.
too much
Yeah.
muscle.
Yep.
I was show ready 3 weeks out.
That's crazy.
And I lost about 12 more pounds.
Yeah.
So I think I can do it. And then I'm going to take a decent break from competing. Multiple years, focus on life, focus on other things.
Love it, man.
Maybe when I'm 20, 24, 26, if it's still in the cards for me, I'm not opposed to never taking PEDs. I just know right now,
There's a difference between taking PEDs for like Cam was mentioning, these professional bodybuilders,
yeah.
not unfortunately, but you need to
need
take
them to
enhancements in
compete.
order to compete at the highest level.
Yeah.
So
Right.
if your goal is to compete at the highest level in the world of bodybuilding, I think PEDs can be justified with the right health concerns. If you're
Right.
taking PEDs as a 17-year-old trying to get bigger and not eating
Making
properly,
sick cap
Yeah.
cut edits.
yeah, then there's a big difference in my opinion. So
Yeah. I mean, the whole PD culture right now is just absolutely disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. Like, people talking about how they're going to die early, but it doesn't matter because
Yeah,
look at
it's-
me, I'm jacked.
it's
And it's like,
fucked.
bud, you're not even that jacked. Like, it's just fucking mind blowing to me, dude. The glorification of
Yeah.
steroids right now. It's just
That short-term
It's honestly disturbing. It is, because like these compounds, they mess with your brain. They're sex hormones. Like what you can't tell me that we're supposed to just 10, 20x our sex hormones. That does funky shit to your head, dude. Like, I don't know. I really hate it. I don't think PEDs are the enemy. I don't think they're evil. They might be in the cards for me. They might not be. I feel like it kind of just depends
Sure.
how my life plays out. But the glorification of it right now in the fitness industry is just something I'm absolutely against.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's easy to be somebody who produces content and think like it's kind of just a black hole. It's just a void. But when you have people tell you how much of an impact you actually made on their life, and then you see people get so easily influenced by like the wrong things, you're like, yo, this shit actually matters, because my voice on a screen, I'm actually speaking to somebody's face through their phone screen.
Fucking love that.
It's
dude.
not just like, yo, I got 20,000 likes on this vid, let's go, let me cut up another one. Like, it's crazy.
That hit hard. I got goosebumps right now. And that's what you just said is the feeling that I have inside with everything I'm doing with this podcast, because I was in a dark place just in like my career and mental health, and going the corporate route and getting a job that I fucking hated and thinking that was going to be the rest of my life. And fast forward almost 5 years now to where we are. I can't even like fathom that we're here right now.
Right.
And knowing that I, just a normal fucking dude, can do that, and that I can show people, and people watching can do that for themselves in whatever venture and business they go down. That is the purpose of life, passing down your knowledge and wisdom and how you truly feel inside to be a hero, instead of all the fucking negativity and shit on social media and going the other direction, to be an influence for the right things. So kudos to you, man, for doing that. And I resonate so much with everything you just said.
Yeah, dude. And you as well. Like what you guys have set up, dude, is setting not only the standard, but the pace for like farther than Rochester. Like it is genuinely so cool to see it grow and develop. And like I remember two and a half years ago when I met Keegan, he's like, yeah, like I take videos of houses. And now to see what it's become, it's like literally mind blowing, where I'm like sitting there on the toilet on Instagram, and I'm like, bro, there's no way the person who filmed this is the same person who films me in my kitchen messing about. Like, I don't deserve this shit. What the fuck am I doing?
Oh, thanks, man. And Keegan specifically, I just continue to praise him, because the kid had zero camera skills before starting everything he's doing, and now he's making movies. Like, wait until the next one that he just made. We're pushing that out this week. I felt like I was in a theater, like watching a Hollywood movie. Like, that's how good it was. And this is only the beginning for him.
Yeah.
He is going to go so fucking far. And I'm just, as a big brother, I'm so fucking proud of him. So
thank you guys. I think it's cool having both of you guys in the room now, because you've been both big parts of like the success I've seen with just creatively. Like Cam has always poured into me, like saying how, you know, just give me confidence to keep pushing. Because I think as a creative, you can get down on yourself, and you probably experience this too, Austin. Like as an influencer, like when you're making content and if it doesn't perform well or this and that, you can kind of get in your own head about things. But it's important to just keep pushing forward, and having you as a mentor, leader, pouring into me, and giving me confidence. And Austin was the first person I actually made like actual videos for, like outside of like the real estate stuff.
Yeah, I remember.
That was like the first thing. So like you trusted me in the beginning of like what we were, and I told you kind of my goals, and you were like, all right, let's like grow together. And you let me try new creative ideas with you and try shit out and just have fun with it. And we've kind of come a long way, and it's been really great.
Yeah,
so.
and you saw the vision, and I remember you telling me, he was like, this dude Austin, like he's going places, and I want to be in his corner, and just to see where you've been and where you continue to go, man. It's truly inspiring, and I'm just so proud of you both. Honestly, is like, you know, just watching what you're doing at such a young age in your early 20s. It's inspiring, and I know everyone watching is going to be inspired as well. So we'll pivot here a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about morning routines. Because I think I saw in one of your videos, you're a big morning person. What do you do in the mornings to set your day up for success, get your mind right? Like, what's your morning routine look like?
Right. So during prep, it's obviously a lot more extensive and a lot more particular, because like I said, you're kind of in the state of like losing your mind, and like kind of in the state of like the most peaceful, like close with God time you've ever had. So it's like a delicate balance, and everything is, I definitely have like a morning routine when I'm prepping for a show. Back to regular life, kind of like right now, my go-tos, simple, wake up, and I have like a song in my head that I want to hear. It's always like a couple different worship songs. Like today was Goodness of God by CC Winnan. Absolutely amazing version of the song. She just belts it out. So I'll put some type of worship song on. I like the gospel variety, where it's very like uplifting and like upbeat, loud. So I'll play that instantly on my phone and get up, stretch out, open my blinds, and just take a few seconds. Just look out the window, breathe. Remember, I'm a person who deals with like a lot of noise in their head, like a lot of anxiety, a lot of like just noise going on.
Yep.
So from the minute I wake up in the morning, it's like, boom, I get hit by a truck, dude. I'm already thinking about 50 different things at the same time, and I'm trying to figure everything out and get it all calculated. So I need to take a deep breath with the music, look out the window, look into the sky, and pretty much that's all I really have time for at the moment. Then it kind of gets into like, all right, what are my actionables for the day? I got to go mow. Okay, my mom is having a litter of puppies dropped off at 12, so I need to be back home from mowing at 12. I need to have this meal right away, and then I'll get the rice cooking for that meal number 2, and pretty much just run through my actionables for the day and then just get to it as fast as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it, man. So let's talk a little bit about, you just touched on it, the things you do outside of bodybuilding, you landscaping, working with your parents, just Austin, the entrepreneur, like give us a rundown on like everything that you're doing right now.
So I grew up in an entrepreneurial family. Early childhood, my mom she has 2 master's degrees in teaching. So she was a public school teacher, and my dad was an electrical engineer at Kodak, or technically not, but we could just say Kodak for people to understand. So that was like early childhood. And then my mom decided to homeschool us when I was very little. And I've pretty much been homeschooled. So like taught at school by my mom my whole life. She was a teacher, so it just worked perfectly. And then when I was like 10 to 12, my dad got laid off from his electrical engineering job. And he, in the process of looking for other jobs, was doing basically home remodeling, so kitchens, bathrooms, things like that. And we had a dog. My mom was like, yo, Andy, what if we breed the dog and sell the puppies? And you can do your construction and stuff, but like while I'm doing the kids, I'll breed the dog. And my dad was like, yeah, that's cool. Let's do it. So we had our first litter, pretty much kept one of the puppies. That dog had more litters for us, kept more of those puppies. We decided that it would be smart to take puppies, give them to somebody, pretty much contract that dog will have future litters for us. So that way we don't have like 50 dogs at our house. In my entire life, we've only ever had 2 dogs at our house. So my mom like thought of this, which allowed us to scale up the business very quickly because we could give somebody a dog. A couple years later, that dog would have another litter for us. So that was that. My dad ended up stopping doing contracting and just doing the puppies full time. So I now had both my parents in the house with me, teaching me, taking me to basketball practice, all of that stuff. So that was huge, I think, for my emotional, like mental development, was just always being around my parents. They always gave me a voice. They always made me feel important. Even when I was a little kid and could barely speak, they would speak to me as an adult. They would listen to me as an adult. And I think that correlates into social media. Because when I was 16, I just started working out a month prior, and I'd post videos. I just felt like people cared. I know Andrew Schultz talked about this with his parents, and I was like, holy shit, that's me. I've always just felt like my opinion, my voice, my life matters. And that's definitely something that they gave to me. Because like when you're raising 4 kids, running multiple businesses, managing rental properties, all this different stuff they're managing, it could have been so easy to just let me like, I'm the youngest, to just let me like figure shit out on my own. Yeah. But they always gave me so much of their time and gave me such a voice so early on that it really like developed my character very like quickly. Yeah. I felt like an adult since I was like 14. I felt like I had like an adult brain ever since I was very young. Yeah.
And that's amazing. Good on your parents, man, especially you being the youngest, for them to put all that energy with everything going on, and their backs being up against the wall, trying to figuring things out as an entrepreneur. Like that's very good stuff, and it's so important. And I think you know, Keegan and I can relate to that so much because our parents are the most incredible people as well. And all of our success, at least I attribute everything to the people that we became because of them.
Dude, yeah.
I mean, we're 2 of 6 kids, and man, we had a fucking amazing childhood. Even, you know, money, my dad was mainly the primary income. My mom would stay at home, and we still went on vacations and did all the fun stuff. And they poured into us education wise, building leaders. And the thing is, like, at least for me, I didn't realize how lucky that I was until I started to grow up and see other kids who were in very not great situations with parenting and family life. And that's when I realized how lucky we had it. It's just so important for parents at an early age to pour into their kids like they did for you, like they did for us. And I think it just sets you up for success because your mind is already wired that way. So, so crucial.
Yeah, I mean, I think the importance of how you're raised and your parents' relationship with you is a lot more important than like the schooling system, because Austin, you were homeschooled, and you didn't go through the traditional route. Cam, I know he finished school. I dropped out of school in college, so I did go through high school. But I think it's really, like Cam said, lots of our success, I think, is attributed to the way our parents raised us. So
yeah, dude,
it's just extremely important the way that you grow up in those crucial years.
Yeah. So parents were kind of entrepreneurs. That's where it came from. So you were mowing lawns. You said you power washed a little bit.
Yeah. So when I graduated high school, I took my like graduation party money and I bought power washing equipment.
Dude, that's sick. That's a true entrepreneur right there,
So
taking that money.
That was pretty dope.
Yep.
And, you know, I would pretty much my whole life, I'd be working on the rental properties with my father, and working with my grandpa on things here and there. Just always kind of been involved in that type of stuff. And I knew I didn't want to go to college. I didn't want to really have a job. I wanted to do my own thing. So at 17, I started my pressure washing business. And then the next year we were able to develop and get zero turns. So started doing lawn care as well. And now it's kind of just a little bit of everything, just hitting the nails on the head where they need to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely like my foundation from my parents and the example they set is where I got like that entrepreneurial mindset and also just the itch for it.
Right on. Do you see yourself, hiring? I'd imagine bodybuilding is your main focus. But I'd imagine you want to continue your other stuff too. Do you see yourself like building a team and like scaling a real business, or just kind of keeping it just you?
So right now, I'd say my focus is definitely more on the puppies, developing my role in that aspect of our business, and then hopefully getting into real estate, which are things that are just like a little bit more, like I definitely, I have like the options.
Yeah.
Of, okay, grow lawn care. I've actually dropped a lot of lawn care clients this year to focus on the business and on bodybuilding.
Yep.
Focus on power washing, focus on this, focus on that. And I think kind of where I'm best at right now, where I think will be the best long term, is to push into media creation and marketing, pretty much for my mother, and also bodybuilding, my personal brand, my personal social media. I definitely want to do coaching one day too. I think that's something I'm extremely passionate about.
I'll be your first client, bro.
Especially with the nutrition. I'm very passionate. I would love to just help people in that way. I don't think I'm fully developed now. I think a lot of like influencers, they'll like just launch coaching.
Try to teach before they're even like
That's what Austin's been good at. Like you'll see these influencers get a little bit of clout.
A little bit of clout.
Here's my one-on-one coaching, trying to make a quick buck, but he's provided value, did a prep, kind of earned your stripes. And I even think now you could easily launch coaching and probably grow that business a lot. But
Definitely
I think,
from a nutritional standpoint, I would be ready for like lifestyle clients.
Yeah.
100%. So
yeah, and I'm the same mindset actually. Like I don't want to. I've been like very keen on being quiet and trying not to just give advice before I actually accomplish things.
Right.
And even now, I'm at a point where we've grown this pretty good, but until I get to like a certain level, I don't want to even think about coaching because there's so much development that I still have to do for myself and building up my team around me before I want to spend energy on doing that. So that's a really great mindset you have to like get yourself going before you think about, and you can still help others through free value on social media and stuff before any like paid coaching and stuff.
Imagine there's a head table at a wedding, right? Would you rather sit at the head table and be told to leave, or sit with everybody else and then be told to come up to the head table?
Oh yeah.
It's like, listen, like there's going to be a lot of people, they're not going to be around for a long time, right? So like they can have their fun, coaching, all right. You might get like 5 clients here and there, you might train some people.
Yeah.
Dude, you're not going to be around like I'm going to be around.
There you go.
And that's kind of like, I'm not even shitting on anyone else. I'm just saying it's my mindset. Like, I kind of know my path is going to be around for a while, so I'm not in a rush. I want to be called up to the head table.
Bro, we're going to clip that in a decade.
Yeah, that's a fucking clip right there. Hell yeah.
I love that. All right, let's talk social media because I feel like that'll bring some value to the people who are trying to grow on social. You've been able to grow a pretty large following. What tips do you have for people anywhere in the social media world of how you were able to grow the following you have?
You have to just keep it organic. You have to not force it. Like, so many people can like quote unquote blow up from doing trends and doing all this like extra stuff, basically all this like fake stuff. But it's not gonna last.
Authenticity.
So you either grow as your organic self or you don't. And if you don't, then just make the adjustments necessary and then continue to do that.
Yeah.
Continue to hit the nail on the head and be what you want to be. And if that doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But at least you can be like, you know what? I didn't present myself in a way I'm not happy with for a click or a number or a view.
So what's your opinion on like sometimes playing into those trends for like the growth through social media? Are you completely against it? Are you... Sometimes we notice that, certain videos obviously do better, even though they're not like the core content that you want to come across as a brand. So what's your opinion on playing into that for not always, but, maybe to have some growth?
You're right. There's 2 types of content. There's you're fueling your audience. You're fueling the people who care about you. And I feel like a large responsibility to those people who care about me. Because, like, dude, if you're willing to, like, sit here and watch a podcast of me for an hour or watch a video of me for 20 minutes, I want to present myself the best way to you, dude. Because, like, without you, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Like, that's the most meaningful shit. And I think there's content which reaches new people. For me, that's like, it will be like just a simple posing video.
Yep.
I'm natural. I'm 21. I'm doing bodybuilding.
Yep.
I'm growing. That's something I'm cool with that. Like, I'm happy with that.
It doesn't step outside of who you like. You're not like
pretending to be someone you're not.
Someone else.
Yeah.
I'm not pretending to be somebody else. It's not like clickbait or like any weird shit like that.
Yep.
And I think there's another step further, which is just like trash content. That like gets hella likes and clicks for some reason.
But then you sell your
Like,
reputation.
I genuinely think that like a video's trash or like a trend is trash. It's like I'm not going to do it because I don't want to.
Yep. Yeah, that's a great point. And from kind of our standpoint on social media, and Keegan brought it up, I'm assuming he was talking about this. Our strategy, we decided we kind of want our brand to go a certain direction and trying to attract bigger clients nationally and like really grow as an agency. But we realized that so much of our growth has been from one type of video that isn't necessarily like the best portrayal of what we want to be as a brand, but we know that it gets reach and followers and views. And we decided as a team that we're going to keep doing those videos to cast the widest net, to get as many people into our world so that they can start to see the content that we actually want to make.
Right.
And I think with you, like the posing and stuff, that's exactly what you're doing. Like it can come off as a little like douchey in a way, right? But the reason you're doing it is to get more people into to the world of Austin so that they can watch the longer form hour podcast and see who you actually are as a human. And I think that's the strategy. As long as you're not doing, like you guys just said, trashy shit just because it's trending and it gets views and you sell your reputation as a person,
Right.
It's okay to kind of analyze like, oh, this video did well. I'm going to try to do that more so that I can attract more people.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about sponsorships, because you've been able to obviously grow a big following and attract brands that want to work with you. What's your tips on number one, people who maybe want to attract sponsorships, and then number two, like vetting who exactly you want to work with? At least for me, like I'm trying to grow my brand now, and I can see myself working with companies that I really believe in and products and services that actually help me as a human. So I think, a lot of people might jump on a sponsorship just to give them money, right? Mm-hmm. But they don't truly believe in what they're selling. They're kind of selling out a little bit. And I can see like the companies you're working with, you like truly use their products every day and believe in them. So maybe talk a little bit about like your approach to sponsorships.
So my mindset with like picking who to go with is I want it to not only be a value add to me in my life, right? I'm going to use the products every single day. It's something I'm truly going to be passionate about, proud of myself to work with, proud to promote. But also a value add to my audience, right? If I tell somebody, hey, drink NOCO, and NOCO fucking sucks, then they're going to be like, well, I don't trust Austin anymore. So am I going to potentially lose somebody who trusts my word? I never want to limit my integrity through a sponsorship. I want a sponsorship to add benefit to me and add benefit to those who are willing to listen to me. So for me, it's like very, very personal. It's very important. When I put my recommendation behind something, like that shit matters to me way more than any money. Why? Because money is replaceable. Because I have so many income streams, I can get no money from a sponsorship, but if I truly believe in it, and I think that if I tell somebody to do something and they do it and it betters them, it creates almost a connection between them and me because I said to do it. So that's almost more important than money. And yeah, pretty much just like not being willing to sacrifice my integrity for money, not really having money be a contributing factor. Social media is not my main source of income. I make my main source of income through my businesses, my work, and then social media. It's nice. I've been able to, basically reach a certain level of monetization. But overall, like my personal brand, the trust people have in me, my integrity when it comes to sponsorships, whether that be Evogen, NOCO, Young LA, any of this stuff is so important.
And saying no, I'm sure you get approached by a lot of people saying way more no's than the yeses. What motivates you?
I think what motivates me and what keeps me so consistent are different. I think that I'm motivated to look into the future and see a version of myself that I'm happy with. I think I never want to feel the way I felt like 10 months ago. I just didn't feel good. I was very not happy with myself mentally or physically. And it motivates me to be like, nah, motherfucker, like I'm never going back to that. Like you think I'm gonna let myself go like that? You think I'm just gonna want comfort and to be a little bitch like that again? No. And I'm speaking to myself here. Like
the dark side.
I'm not doing that shit. So that like fires me up on a daily basis. But I think the discipline and the routine of it and the like truly this is who I am now comes from Christ. Because truthfully on my own, I'm not disciplined enough. Truthfully on my own, I'm not level-headed enough or wise enough or mature enough or any of these things. I have power through Christ. I have strength through Christ. Like I see my life as no longer my own, but living for God, living with Christ in his presence is truthfully all that like really matters. So when I'm taking actions and when I'm doing things that are fulfilling to me in a spiritual sense, then they're fulfilling to me in a worldly, physical sense.
Amen, brother. Goals for the future. Where's Austin going in the next couple of years? Where do you see yourself?
5 years.
5 years.
Hopefully an IFBB Pro card. I'm going to be taking care of people's nutrition and training. That is something I'm super passionate about. When the time comes, married, probably not kids yet. Maybe kids, 26. Married, sick house. Develop my gardens, travel cool places.
Hell yeah.
Stay disciplined. Stay within.
Simple man, eh?
Stay within.
Simple man.
God's plan.
It's a great life right there.
Yeah.
Let's end on this. Young, hungry entrepreneur, maybe your age or younger. What's your parting piece of wisdom to that person who knows they have so much inside of them, but maybe hasn't found their path yet? No matter what they end up doing, there's traits, there's values you have to have as a human to take this journey, the beaten path, while everybody else takes a normal life. What's your parting piece of advice to that person to help them achieve anything that they want to achieve?
You need to lean not on your own understanding, because if you knew all the answers, then you would already have what you want. So you need to understand that you don't know really what you're doing or what's going on. And you need to reduce all of the noise of the things people are telling you, the things you're viewing on social media that are skewing your perception this way, that way, anything that keeps you, that is causing you to be inconsistent. You need to block it out, and you need to start moving. You need to pick a direction and move consistently. And you need to give that trust to the Lord, and you need to have action with it. You can't just say, God, I trust you. Where am I going?
Yeah.
He's not just necessarily going to say, hey man, just do this, 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 and then you'll have your dream life.
Yeah. You need to figure it out.
You need to start going down the path.
Yep.
And when you feel convicted, or when you feel guidance, it's going to look like this, right? I said this in a YouTube video, but God, like I just mentioned, he's not just going to give you a list of actionables, and then you do each one, and then boom, you're successful. If the path is like this, you might stray off, and God, like a father to a child who's walking off the sidewalk, will say, hey, buddy, come back. And you'll start going on the right path again, and you might veer off, and you'll get that gentle guidance, because God is extremely gracious. Truthfully, none of us deserve God's grace and his guidance in our life, but he gives it to us anyways, just because he loves us. So, dude, start moving, start making actions, and like, stop being so fucking prideful. Stop thinking you got all the answers. Stop trying to do it all on your own. It's gonna be okay. You got a long life, but like, start working.
Wise beyond his years, guys. I mean, I can't find a better way to end the show than on that. Austin, thank you so much, brother.
Thank you for having me.
This has been a pleasure, and I can't wait to continue to watch you grow in the places you go, and the relationship that we build together. Where can people connect with you? Plug everything you want to plug, whatever you got for the audience.
Instagram is at ATC Aesthetics, and YouTube is also at ATC_aesthetics. If you guys sat through this video, I'm so appreciative of you. It's been real. It's been such a great opportunity, and I'm blessed to have you guys in my life, honestly.
Amen, brother. All right, guys. I hope you found this episode valuable. Please share it with a friend. If you know any young aspiring entrepreneurs, shares help, reviews and likes for the show help. Thank you again for listening and watching, and we will see you in the next episode. Peace out.
Peace.